Hey guys, so today I'm going to be giving you 8 tips and tricks with DoorDash, and I'm going to get started right away. So if you like the video, remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. But let's get to it. So, number one for me would be always set a minimum per order. So, based on your market, you'll know what you think is worth it to you. Me personally, I don't take anything less than $7 unless it's very slow. But for the most part, I won't take anything less than 7. And then during the weekends, I will take for lunch and dinner. I won't take anything less than 10. That's when it's the busiest over here. So, and then for the $7, I won't go anything farther than 3.5 miles or 4 miles at most. But you have to set a minimum per order because remember, for the most part, the most orders you'll do per hour is 3. I tend to do maybe 2 or 3, so that's why I have a higher minimum because especially for lunchtime and dinner time on the weekends because that's when you can get a lot of big monsters and that's when you can definitely make a lot more money and wait for the bigger orders. But like I said, it's all market dependent, but you do have to set a minimum. You have to know what's worth it to you, and remember, you have to be able to reach your goal for what you want to make per hour. So, number two would be with DoorDash, don't expect hand tips. So, with DoorDash, they tell you how much you're making in total with the tip and the DoorDash pay. So, for the most part, it does happen sometimes, but for the most part, you won't be getting any hand tips. So, whatever you're making from that order, you'll be knowing straight up, which is a good thing because they tell you how far you're going and how much you're making. So, you don't have to guess or you don't have to hope for a big tip or anything like that. You know what you're making. If the dash says you're making $9 to deliver that food, you're gonna make $9 for the most part. And it's nice if you get hand tips, but don't expect them, especially if they already tipped in the app. So just with Uber Eats, you can expect sometimes to get some hand tips, but with DoorDash, not too often at least. Number three would be always let your customer know if there's a delay. So and when you're getting to them. So with the delay is with the restaurants, sometimes they can be a little bit slow depending on what restaurant it is. And you might get there on time and even a little bit early, but they might still be making the food or they might be very busy. So what they'll do is they'll they'll tell you, oh no, the food's not ready. So if you know there's gonna be a delay, you should always text your customer. I text them most of the time. You can call them, but I like texting them just so them know, hey, it's your DoorDash driver. I apologize if I'm going to be a little bit late. The food's not ready yet. They're still making it. So, just let them know. Just give them an update. And for the most part, customers will understand and they'll be like, oh, hey, thanks for the update or thanks for the heads up. And that can help your customer rating too because, most of the people will be expecting their food at a certain time. But, delays happen. Like, it always happens. No matter who it is, even the restaurants, they can be late. Even us in life, we can be late. Most of the time we'll do things on time if we tell ourselves to do it. But sometimes you're going to be late, like no matter what. Like, we're not perfect. It happens. So the restaurants can be a little bit slow sometimes. If it happens too often, that's different. But sometimes it's okay. And then always let them know when you're getting to them. So what I do is once I get their food, and I swipe, got the food, I'll give them a quick text. I'll be like, hey, it's your DoorDash driver. I'm on my way now. And then, that lets them know, oh, hey, okay. Like, he's telling me he's coming and everything. And, they can track you on the GPS too, but it's also good to let them know. Just give them little updates, just to help your customer rating and stuff like that. So if you give them good service, they'll give you a 5-star for the most part. Number four would be don't be scared to reassign every once in a while. So sometimes people might think, oh, I took this order, even if it's an accident, I have to do it now. That's not true. You can reassign, but I wouldn't recommend doing it too often. I would do it maybe out of every 100 deliveries, I would do it at the most 5. That's at the most. That's what I do. So, sometimes you might click by accident. Oh, you might have accepted it. You might not even looked at it. And, it might be a low paying one. So you'll be like, oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Don't be scared to be like, okay, let me throw it back. Like, it's okay. Or sometimes if the restaurant's taking way too long, then sometimes you can throw that back too. Just don't be scared to do that. Sometimes it's not worth it, especially if the wait time is way too long and the pay is not that good. So don't be scared to reassign. but just don't do it too often because you can get deactivated for that. I think if you have anything less than 70%, I believe that's what really might get you deactivated. So number 5 would be if the food fits, you should put it in an insulated bag. So when I first started doing DoorDash, they sent me my red card. They sent me the little insulated bag for DoorDash. I don't think they do that anymore. That's what I've heard. But when I did sign up, I'm sorry, I did get it. So if the food does fit from the restaurant, then you should put it in there because it'll keep it pretty much like how warm it is or how cold it is. And it just helps so it won't get too cold or too hot. Too cold or it'll melt if it's ice cream or something. And it's just really, it's good to have it's good to have. And then, yeah, especially if you're going far distances. That's when you really should put it in the insulated bag because food will get cold. If you're going 15 to 20 minutes, food will get cold or hot. So you should definitely use it at that time. But for the most part, sometimes the restaurant might give you a really big bag where it just doesn't fit. That's okay. You don't have to use it then. Like, don't, try to force it in there and then break the actual bag that the customer's going to get. But for the most part, if you can, put it in there. Number 6 would be don't drive too far from your hotspots if it's not worth it. So sometimes we might look at a pay and be like, oh, okay, that's worth it. I'm going 7 miles and I'm getting paid $11. So, that's pretty good. I would maybe take it depending on what time it is. But if you have a hotspot and you're trying to get back to it, you got to remember, you're going 7 miles to the restaurant and the customer, but then you have to come back for another 7 miles. And then you have to think about how far it is, the traffic, and what time it is. So you have to manage all that very quickly. So you have to know your area, what time is there traffic. Usually during dinner time, that's when it'll be the most traffic because people are getting home from work and stuff. So you have to know what's worth it to you. So for the most part, I would try not to go too far away from my hotspots if it's not worth it. Like if it's too far or if it's going to take way too long, just don't do it. It won't be worth it, and then when you have to come back and you don't get paid for the time you're coming back to your hotspot. Number 7 would be work efficiently and smart. So with that, once you get to the restaurant, you should right away go inside the restaurant no matter what time they tell you the pickup is at. So if you get there at 8:20 and then the pickup time is at 8:30, just get out of your car and just go there even if you're early. That lets the restaurant know that you're there, and then that'll put pressure on them if they haven't made the food already or if they haven't prepared it all the way. So they'll, and then tell the restaurant that you're there. Tell them like, hey, I'm with DoorDash, I'm picking up for whatever name it is. So do that, and then it'll give them pressure, and most of the time, if they're not too busy, they will have the food ready before the time that they say. So it's always good to be early no matter what. And you just have to be smart with it. Like I said, if it goes back to setting a minimum per order, you have to be smart. Remember, you're going to get wear and tear on your car no matter what. So you have to worry about your gas, your maintenance, tires, all of that. And then, so you have to be smart about what you take, how far you're driving, and the areas you're driving. Some areas are a little bit more, I would say they're not fixed up. Like, you can have potholes, you can have just bad roads sometimes. So just be really smart when it comes to that. Number 8 would be don't follow the hotspots. So what DoorDash does, if it might get busy or if there's not enough drivers, they'll give a hotspot where, some orders are coming in. And for the most part, if you're close to it, it's fine. But if you're chasing them, if you're like 3 or 4 miles away, don't do it. Only because since you can see the hotspots, everybody else can see them too. So what do you think is going to happen? Everybody's going to drive to the hotspot or be close to the hotspot, which means once you get there, it's probably not a hotspot anymore. So it's a little bit of a waste of time, and then, you have to go back to, or you have to just, stay there until you get something. So don't chase hotspots. They're not worth it, not unless you're already there or close to it. But if you're too far, don't chase them. It's not worth it. Most of the time, if you know your area, you're going to get an order no matter what. You don't need to chase hotspots ever. And number nine would be an extra tip would be with your customer rating. Like I said, always be nice to always be nice to the customer. But also, if you think everything goes right and they seem happy and then they're really nice, like don't be afraid to tell them or give them a text after you drop off the food. Just be like, hey, if you like my service, can you give me a 5 star, please? Like, I would really appreciate it. And anything at the lines of that. Like, don't be too pushy. Like, if if you're late or if the food's not hot anymore, or if anything like that, don't do it. They'll give you a bad rating. But if you know that it went well, you should try to do that. Just at first, I did do that a lot because, I wanted to get my customer rating to a point where I didn't have to worry about it. Right now, I believe it got into an all-time high for me. I got it at 4.85 out of 5. So that's really good for me, at least. So I don't really give the customers a text anymore at the end. So now naturally they just give me a 5 star only because I'm very happy with them. I'm always smiling, or I'm in a good mood when I deliver their food. And then I always tell them, have a great day afterwards or have a great night, depending on what time it is. So always do that. Be nice to them. Like, it doesn't hurt to just tell them, have a great day or have a good night or anything like that, and just put a smile. Even if it doesn't come naturally, don't do it, of course. But I think I just naturally smile, so it just comes natural for me. And then lately, it's been working out very well. But yeah, guys. So those are my 8 tips plus the extra one. And if you guys liked it, again, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And thank you, guys.